Wow, fabulous morning, lovely and warm. Now would you believe today is the 1st of June, lovely and warm, 22 degrees, and it's only 9 AM. At this time exactly on the 1st of June 1975 it was snowing. Can you believe that? It was snowing. Only in England, hey? Sometimes you can get 4 seasons here in 1 week. Right, so hunting. Today I'm back on a joint permission which we've secured with Mark. Mark can't join me, he's working now. Well, he was before. What I mean is he's now really busy in a new job and he can't get Fridays off anymore like he used to, but he's probably happy about that because a few of his friends are behind me here. He's not too keen on cows, but we're going to see what we can find. I'm feeling a little bit lucky today, and I'll try and show you anything and a bit of history behind anything I happen to find today. So let's get swinging, turn this coil on and we'll get going. Right, I think I can hear Mr. Farmer creeping up behind me on his quad bike, and all the cows rushing over to the gate, so they obviously think the same as me. Now what we got here, I don't think it's going to be very deep because it's quite loud. Still in the hole. The cow just sniffed me bum. What have we got here? I think I might have just missed it by a bit. Ooh. I think it's probably a large piece of lead. Oh, hang on. Golly. I thought that was a bit loud. What is heavy? It is lead. Wow. I've just weighed my last lead in. 83 kilos. 90 pounds, 10 pence. I can't remember exactly, but 90 quid I got for the charity. Cancer Research UK. Now getting these sods back so they look alright. It's a bit dry. Aha! Lost it, hang on. Here we go. 89 to 92. Totally different tone to the last one, if you remember the last one. That's great. Now I'm just going to mark that with a spade. And I'm going to set the camera up to do a dig. Right, that's the camera set up. I'm using my phone today on a small tripod. It's not very windy, so hopefully we won't get much, if any, wind noise. Really keen to see what this one was. Let me just get the plug back in the right place so I can put it in easy. Now, it's not in the plug. Oh, right, okay. What is it? Oh! Oh, not another one of them. I think it's a draw pull, draw knob. See? Smashed. So the porcelain in the middle is just smashed to pieces, but well, the wind's getting up. But it's a find. Happy with that. Right. Now I made an error of judgment on that one. You can't get them all right, I suppose. It was a really horrible signal. Look at that. Now I was really excited at first. I've given it a clean and a polish, and that looks absolutely remarkable. What? It does look remarkable. Anyway, because of that head, I thought I'd got a sovereign. The condition and that head made me think I got my first ever gold coin, and it's not. I think, if I remember, it's not copper. I think it's brass. And to Hanover. Now I can't remember the exact story, so I'm going to have to research this when I get home, but I know there's a story. It's some... I wish I could remember it, but I know it's very, very interesting. It's a token, not a coin. And it's a token, I think, taking the mickey out of somebody who left the country. And Victoria was glad to see the back of him. But I'm just making this up as I go because I really cannot remember. But I've seen one before. I've never found one before. So, I tell you what. I'll see if I can research it and give you all the story on that. Well, that'll probably be my find of the day. Oh, I've just hit this target. Oh, it comes right back here. Let me move the camera, make sure I got it in focus there and then. Right, so it goes from there to there, so it's about 16 inches. Let's do it. It doesn't sound the right signal to be copper or a coin. It's possible silver, but there's something not quite right with that signal. With 99 tones on the full setting, you know, I've got 99 tones. You can only be 1 or 2 tones either side of one you recognise, and it fools you. It's obviously in the plug this time. Hang on. Oh, hang on. I could be wrong. It could be... Oh no. Another brass piece. Yeah, bullet. It's a bullet. Ah. Well, that's a few finds in a relatively short period of time. I've only been here half an hour. Quite good. It's getting very warm now. Couldn't believe it was snowing this time in 1975, but it's lovely. By the way, is there anybody out there who does t-shirt printing full colour? I want to change this logo. Apart from that, it's a bit faded now anyway, and I'm looking for a sponsor who will like their shirts in my videos, so they can just if I can send them the logo, if they can print them for me. I only want a couple, and maybe they could sponsor my video by doing that. Right, so whilst I'm looking for the next signal, I've just got 15 seconds for you to watch this. Right, so let's have a closer look at this. I can hardly hear it. It keeps going. Right, hang on. I think it'll probably be about there. It's a hard one. It's not a consistent tone. Always curious to find out what these tones are. Not even going to guess. But knowing my luck, as I'll tell you now, on this permission I found 200 cow tubes. So it's probably another cow tube. They usually sound better than that. Right, well, I'll have to search again. I know you can't hear this because I can hardly hear it. Back. Widening a hole is rather like digging a jigsaw puzzle. Ah! Much clearer. It's in there. I think I need a new glove already. Let's just see if it's in that piece. No. What is it? It's gold. It's gold coloured. Wow. It's only tiny. Gold coloured. But it's junk. Good job I didn't predict anything for that one. Well now of course it's putting everything back together again. I always find it's best to widen a hole methodically, so rather than just keep digging stuff out and chucking it around, put them in certain places so you can fill it back in again. The last thing I want to do is to really annoy the farmer. Now sometimes if the ground is really hard, not all the soil will go back in because it won't compress. When you dug it, of course, it was compressed, so it leaves a mound. So just do your best. There we go, like a little patchwork quilt. I did give you a link earlier on to look at my detecting equipment that I use, and the reason I started doing that is because some young detectorists in particular have started asking me what equipment I use, and the last question I had is, what's this? What knife is it? Well, don't be silly and carry this sort of around with you. You know, just keep it with your detecting gear only. That's called a hori hori knife. It's a Japanese gardening knife, and I like that because it's got the measurements up there so you can see how deep the target is, and you can also use the handle as well. But you've also got a root cutting blade on that side, just to get through some tough roots if you're digging in woodland or whatever, and a smooth one this side. I did have to take the point off it because I found it was too pointed and too sharp, and occasionally I was piercing my targets, and you can't afford to do that with a nice gold coin or a token or a hammy or something like that. So I took the point off. So you can find that in my video description, a link to it. They're not terribly expensive these days. My first one was about £40, and now they're about 20, 22, something like that. I can't remember. I've had this a while. Well, I've dug up several pieces of lead since I last spoke to you, but look at this piece of lead. It's a sheep. Well battered. Been in the ground for a long time, I guess. Now, the farmer here likes to see all my rubbish. In fact, he leaves a bin out for me to put all the rubbish in. I take the lead home to recycle, as I mentioned, for the charity. But I think I'll give him that piece. He's always interested in anything that comes up. Fantastic, nice little sheep. Right guys, here's an unusual one. I've just dug up that, and the first thing I thought was I found a ball joint off a vehicle. But I think I know what it is. I can't ever see I've seen one in that colour before, but I'm fairly sure I know what that is. I'll tell you at the end of the video. I'll research it as well. It's got made in England, and it's got A something CO as the maker. That's the end. Look at that. It's full of what looks like wood or something. Pardon me. I think most of you will get that. But look, let's just see how many people think they know what that is. Oh, that one's very messy. Very small signal, but it's messy. I've got to do a live dig. Let me just mark it. Right. Let's see how easy this one's going to be to find. Very small, a little bit scratchy. Again, I can't predict what this one's going to be. I found a little weevil caterpillar. Now then, it's still bad. No clearer or louder. Oh, but it's easy to find. No. It's just a nail. So it was something, but that was a very, very tiny signal. Fairly decent sized object, but it was obviously deeper than I thought it was. Oh well, won't find that one again. Well, my first proper coin today. It's a penny. Could be anything from Victoria backwards, but I have no idea. You'll never get anything off that, I don't think. It's too cruddy. Anyway, it's my first coin. It's jolly warm today. Right. We'll just go through some of the bits. First of all, let's do some of the bits you haven't seen that are junk. I think you saw one of those lead pipes. Well, I found another one. That's been 200 meters away. In fact, there's nothing else in there you really need to see. The rusty bits and another piece of lead. So, but I'll recycle that lead. There's probably about half a kilo there. But remember that? Have you yet decided what that might be? Well, I think it's a smoker's pipe, probably from around about 1960. So yes, it was a pipe, I was right, but I didn't know much about it. I knew it was a metal stem and threaded bowl from the 60s because I remember seeing my grandfather having something very similar. But it's made by Falcon. And what an interesting story. If you go to smokingmetal.co.uk, you will see the development and the story here of Falcon. The bit that really interests me is the 1964 bit, because I guessed it was 1960s. And it was the launch of the ALCO pipe by Falcon. Remember I said made in Britain, and I can see the letters A something CO. Well, apparently the name ALCO came about when Falcon first began distributing Falcon in the UK. But then George Hunt, realising that a company had already got a line of pipes with that name, and not wishing to break any copyright or infringement, he had to rethink it. and the decision was to rework the stems, buffing out the F and the N, just leaving the ALCO, the 4 letters left in the middle. So buff out the F, buff out the N on these stems and have ALCO. But most interestingly, and in the best condition as well, which I did spend 10 minutes cleaning it up, was that brass token, which looks the same sort of design as a Victoria sovereign. And I still can't remember the whole story about that, but I know I've seen one before and I know the story. I've just forgotten it. So I'm going to tell you the story of this. So let's get on and do a little bit of research about this, and I'll come back to you at the end. Well, I managed to find it, and yes, it was a memory jogger. I know now where I found it. 1837, the Victorian Cumberland Jack token was struck. These are commonly found in boxes of old coin collections, drawers and household junk, and I think that's where I've seen one before. They are made of brass, so I was right about that, and they were probably made as a satirical gaming token. Now, when Queen Victoria ascended to the throne, she could not assume the Hanoverian throne because this was restricted to only male succession. Her relative, the Duke of Cumberland, therefore succeeded her place. Apparently, he was quite unpopular, and this Jetton was issued as a humorous comment of his departure from the British Isles. You can see that it struck using the young head of Queen Victoria facing left with her hair in a familiar bun. This portrait is very similar to that which appears on the head of the young sovereigns of Victoria. Got that bit right, I remember that well. Queen Victoria of Great Britain, 1862, it says on the obverse, and the reverse with a man supposed to represent the Duke of Cumberland in a crude imitation of a gold sovereign with the legend "To Hanover, 1837. So there you have it. That's the history of that coin, and there's loads more on the internet if you want to search it. Right, so that's interesting, isn't it? Now, who knew that? I told you, I completely forgotten, and now you know as well why that is almost looking like a sovereign. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do this as a giveaway. I'm not going to have a competition or anything like that. I'm just going to pick somebody at random who happens to leave a comment. So it's up to you if you want to leave a comment or not. You don't have to be a subscriber if you don't want to be. But I'm going to clean that up, polish it, 24 karat gold plate it, pick somebody and post it to them. So if this is your first time here and it's your first video and you haven't yet subscribed, I hope I can tempt you just to click that subscribe button and maybe even push the bell so whenever I load a video up you can be notified. Meanwhile, I'll catch you later and happy hunting.
Running up the mountain and climbing a tree, twisted like a snake and busy like bees. Don't know what the is wrong with me. Don't know what the is wrong with me. Pumping up the volume to 90 degrees, dancing to a song till I drop to my knees. Don't know what the is wrong with me. Don't know what the is wrong with me. Boy, how you know you got that something here? I'm just standing doing nothing. From across the room you got me blushing. I got a crush just like a gold rush. Boy, how you know you got that something here? I'm just standing doing nothing. From across the room you got me blushing. I got a crush just like a gold rush. Just to get what I need, coming at your heart, you will see what I mean. Don't know what the is wrong with me.